The world of model aviation is changing, and it's changing fast. From redesigned smooth aircraft to intricate jet bridges to airport fire stations, a quiet revolution is underway. It's being led by manufacturers who aren't in traditional factories, but rather using 3D printers from the comfort of their home. This is a story of how companies like Jett Models, Tarmac Designs, and 3D Design Deck are redefining the model aviation industry. To start, let's briefly look back on model aircraft collecting over the years. First, we started with brands like Dragonwings, who introduced the first 1-400 diecast models to the world. Previously, Shabak 1-600 models were popular through the 1980s and 1990s, so having this larger scale with more room for details opened the door for exciting releases. Over time, brands like GeminiJets, Aero Classics, and Phoenix models entered the ring, and today, newer brands like NG Models and Aviation 400 are revolutionizing the standards of this hobby today. While these manufacturers have produced a wide array of aircraft types, some types were unfit for 1-400 diecast due to their size, predominantly general aviation aircraft and private jets. Plus, ground service equipment has been very limited with only a handful of releases from GeminiJets, Aero Classics, and JC Wings, plus an extensive collection from Fantasy Wings. But as of late, a rapidly evolving technology has proved as an outlet where tiny aircraft in this scale has become possible, and providing new GSC to the hobby: 3D printing. In recent years, 3D printing has become more affordable, sizable, and extremely precise, and while it came a new generation of creators skilled in CAD, aviation, and design, ready to fill the void that diecast manufacturers left alone, we'll be assessing three main manufacturers of 3D printed aircraft and accessories: 3D Design Deck, Tarmac Designs, and Jett Models. Starting with 3D Design Deck, this brand is a two-person company producing handcrafted designed aircraft in both 1-400 and 1-200 scale. While they've produced common types like the Boeing 737-200, their smaller types stand out. Take for example their Beechcraft 1900Ds and Bombardier Challenger 600s, or their influx of Bombardier Dash 8 Q100s and Q300s. Better yet, these models have all the benefits of diecast models. They are scale accurate, beautifully painted, and highly collectible. Having these small aircraft types that the diecast manufacturers would have otherwise passed on means that they can do unique airlines that have never been made before. In addition, their releases have enabled collectors to expand their fleets into niched areas thought impossible just a few years ago. Plus, 3D Design Deck has plans to release more exotic types like the de Havilland Dash 7 and Douglas DC-910, a mold that has seen no usage in the last 20 years. Next up is Tarmac Designs. Based in Indiana, Tarmac Designs makes some highly detailed terminals, control towers, and accessories in 1-400 scale. Their terminals and buildings feature precise details just like real life, and they've released several iconic buildings such as the LAX theme building, the TWA Flight Center, and the Renaissance Concourse Hotel located near the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Their terminals also reflect a wide array of airports in the United States, like LAX, MSP, and San Diego. Plus, they offer a wide range of air traffic control towers replicating those at major airports like London Heathrow, Melbourne, Chicago O'Hare, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Their buildings and accessories enable collectors to expand their layout and introduce insane levels of detail and realism. In addition, Tarmac Designs has begun releasing 1-400 aircraft, and the current list goes as follows: Embraer ERJ-145 XR kit, F-35, Piper PA-28 Cherokee, Cessna 208 and 408. Lastly, Jett Models. They take realism added by 3D Design Deck and Tarmac Designs and they push it even further, offering details that complete an airport scene. From de-icing sets to emergency vehicles, their line of 1-400 and 1-200 scale accessories adds operational realism. Jett has become notorious for their GSC. They've produced a wide array of vehicles including airline-themed sets, military sets, and emergency vehicle sets. Plus, they've also released de-icing equipment for their winter-themed dioramas, passenger vehicles for etched to the level of detail at a model airport, and cargo GSC to make freight planes look just like the real-life replica. They've also not been shy to releasing their own aircraft, announcing types like the Gulfstream G650, Beechcraft 350, and F-22 Raptors. With all these innovations happening in the realm of 3D printing, new manufacturers are popping up everywhere, offering new products that have never been done before by diecast makers. More and more collectors are jumping into the 3D space, and some have printed their own. I also want to highlight companies like Tiny Tug Designs that have done great work as well. Access to more STL files, CAD, and more are turning collectors into creators. I also gathered 3 different perspectives from 3 different collectors, and I wanted to share those here. Collector number 1 said, "It was 2020 when I really started to get into 1-400 collecting and building airports. It's only 5 years ago, but for those primarily collecting US carriers like myself, this was a time where Gemini was pretty much the only option for both planes and GSC, with NG just getting started. If you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of making custom airport dioramas, even if it takes months and is a little imperfect. Ever since my first rendition of SBA, made entirely out of cardstock, I began to incorporate 3D printed elements. I was lucky enough to have some experience to be proficient in CAD, so I started replacing some of the airport parts from jetway cabs to some of the curb sections of the terminal, which were difficult to replicate with paper. At the same time, I also started designing custom GSC, as the ones available back then weren't suited for regional airports like SBA. During this process, I saw a lot of potential for 3D prints from bridging those gaps, but the steeping and learning curve of CAD meant that wasn't for everyone just yet. Fast forward a few years later, 3D printing for this hobby has made remarkable progress. From shapeways to pre-painted GSC to 3D design deck, there is now much less dependence on mainstream manufacturers for GSC and small aircraft. I haven't had the chance to get a 3D aircraft myself yet, but the decal quality looks impressive, especially given how nitpicky I can get sometimes. For small accessories like GSC, which were never diecast to begin with, resigned prints have enough detail to work with as a substitute for conventional GSC models. I hope these can go added more retailers in the future, and I'm excited to see how far this goes. Collector number 2 said, "I think 3D printing is not just great for the model aircraft hobby, but also model hobbies in general. The ability to 3D print allows us a large variety of items that we can use on our aircraft. Aircraft wise, we get aircraft variants manufacturers can't make, along with other items that are useful, making your own stands, hangars, gates, GSC, other fine details, etc. Only issues is the price being considerably expensive for what you get. 3D printing isn't the greatest of all time and needs some work before it's truly complete. If you do 3D printing yourself, the most expensive investment you'll need is the printer, and after you slashed a lot of cost, overall 3D printing is cool." Collector number 3 said, "The quality of 3D prints has been absolutely amazing in my experience. Arguably, the price is a little higher than what I would want it to be, but it's all worth it because of the new possibilities. As design printers become more affordable and file sharing more accessible, the barrier to entry continues to drop. So as more people step their foot into the 3D printing world, more and more people will continue to get involved in collecting new items that we wouldn't have dreamt of seeing at the start of this decade. We continue to move forward where any collector can design an airport with insane levels of details, and companies like Jett Models, Tarmac Designs, and 3D Design Deck are leading the change with more releases, more molds, and more interactivity. Which 3D printed company do you want to see more from? Let me know in the comments section below. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. My name is CM Aviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do you love what you do? My name is CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as CM Aviation is signing off.